Welcome to the Good Place Marionville podcast, dedicated to highlighting the good right here in Marionville, Missouri.
Today's episode will continue our commitment to showcase the goodness in Marionville. So let's cover some of the good this week.
City offices will be closed November 28th to 29th for Thanksgiving. That's good for them. They get some days off.
And happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
That's right. School news. Marionville High School is going to have a blood drive. And today until 3 p.m., the high school is having a blood drive inside of their gym that's open to the public. This event is in partnership with the Community Blood Center of the Ozarks. If you donate blood, you'll get a free Kansas City Chiefs t-shirt and a chance to win 2 Kansas City Chiefs game tickets. Call 417-227-5006. 417-227-5006.
Marionville High School has a Cybersecurity Club, and they have a competition that they just completed and also a conference that's going to be coming up. So on November 16th, the Cybersecurity Club participated in what they call a hackathon at the University of Missouri, and it's called Missouri Hacks. And to learn more about programming, artificial intelligence, and they also competed in a judging event. The club placed third among all the other high schoolers in Missouri who participated in the judging event. And also, the club hopes to host an event for the community that will raise awareness for online safety, data threats, and additional technology concepts that every person needs to know. So that's going to be coming, and we'll report about it here as soon as that's hot off the press. Thanks, Kyle Smith, for this great report.
Marionville Sonic partners with the school on so many things. This past week, they sponsored the first quarter perfect attendance students with a Sonic drink during lunch. Marionville Lions Club made a $500 holiday donation that will be used to sponsor Christmas wish lists for Marionville students and a Thanksgiving meal for 2 families at Alice Irene's.
In first responder news, Jim, you guys have been doing some special training at the fire department. Tell us a little bit about what you've learned even just this week.
All right. So we just got all certified and recertified for CPR, the latest in techniques on CPR and helping people who are choking. And on Saturday this week, we're going to have a whole day of training on putting out car fires. As you know, you've seen if an electric car catches fire, it's very different than a regular car. So got to put out a car fire last week here in Marionville. We're going to learn how to do it on all types of cars coming up this Saturday.
So that one wasn't a practice. There was actually a car fire, which is why you guys go through all these different kinds of training. So I love that.
Today's podcast episode sponsored by the Bank of Billings. We're so blessed to have a local community bank like the Bank of Billings right here in Marionville. They're such great people. They love the community and support us in so many ways. Right now, they're working with Care to Learn for tonight's Thanksgiving dinner. The angel trees will be soon set up to gather gifts for children in need whose parents happen to be in prison and also in need. Isn't that the angel tree one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the bank is also coordinated with Santa and his John Deere community Christmas event on the 10th of December. The Bank of Billings is busy in their bank and in the community, blessing us all with great service. Remember, they're member FDIC and an equal housing lender. We're grateful to the Bank of Billings for all of their community support and for sponsoring the Good Place Marionville podcast.
In other business news, Alice Irene's is hosting a Thanksgiving Day all you care to eat buffet, and reservations are required. So call 417-258-2288. And they say the buffet includes hot bar, I think that means hot food, salad bar, and dessert bar. So spend the meal with your community family and leave the cooking to them.
First Baptist Church of Marionville is holding a coat drive. Please bring new and gently used coats of all sizes to First Baptist Church by the 1st of December, when they will be washed and given to the school for distribution.
All right, now this news is time sensitive. This Sunday, November 24th at 6 p.m. at Marionville Assembly of God is the Community Thanksgiving Service. Following the service is a light fellowship time and a pie auction. So here's your chance to bake your signature pie or cake. Cakes are allowed as well, and see how much money can be brought in at the auction. All the proceeds are going to go to help fund the Christmas basket program, and all the local churches have been collecting items for the baskets, and they'll be taken to the First Baptist Church of Marionville on the 13th, assembled and then distributed on the 14th. So I just want to thank the Ministerial Alliance for all of their work supporting the community, specifically through this amazing event.
There are several events coming up around town as we head towards the Christmas holiday. November the 20th, again, Marionville Care to Learn Thanksgiving Community Dinner. That's tonight
Yes.
at the elementary middle school cafeteria. It's not too late to join them for this free event between 5 and 7 p.m. And angel trees go up at the Bank of Billings on the 29th of November. Stop and pick up your angel to buy gifts for.
December 10th is Santa and His Deer from 5 to 7 downtown Marionville. This community Christmas event will include pictures with Santa and his deer, Deere. I think the big green thing, treats by local businesses, and it is free to the public. Non-perishable food items are requested to be donated. This is what used to previously be called the drive-through Christmas.
December 14th is Christmas Downtown, hosted by the Apple Fest Committee. The elf contest is happening now. Go to the Marionville Pharmacy to support your favorite elf. And then on December 14th, the Christmas parade starts at 5 p.m., followed by the Christmas story, Santa, hot cocoa, treats, and gifts. Link for the parade sign-up will be in the show notes.
You know, some fun help from Sonic again for the Christmas Downtown event that you were just talking about, Jim. If you bring a bag of individually wrapped candies to Sonic before December 10th, you get a free Route 44 drink. And so this is a great way that Sonic is helping to support the community. So take a bag of candy, get your free Route 44, which is the big one. You can get your cherry limeade that you love, Jim.
I love cherry limeade.
So thanks to Sonic for supporting in that way. In other news around town, last week, our guest Barbara Neely shared about the Marionville Pride Facebook page and the Home of the Year contest. And the winner was announced this Sunday, and it goes to Brandon and Evie Hood at 315 East Washington Street. I just want to congratulate Brandon and Evie and your family for putting so much work into preserving your beautiful home.
Enjoy your prizes, compliments of many generous sponsors. Jennifer Hauser Young, Rapid Ship and Republic, Bank of Billings, The Storehouse Bakery, Jim Miner, The Sticker Studio, Barbara Neely Designs, and Kathleen Urschel. What a great thing is. Can't wait to see next year's entries to see how many of you choose to spruce up your houses to try to get a little, just pride in Marionville. All right, now Martha's going to finish up the show from here.
Today, I want to welcome Amber Burnley to the show. So we first met Amber when she attended an alderman meeting to talk about something that she really wants to do for the community. Amber has since created a Facebook group page called White Squirrel Community Garden and really has a dream to feed the community with the community garden. So while we get to know Amber, I just want to encourage everyone to take time and go follow her Facebook page, White Squirrel Community Garden. Amber, thank you so much for coming and being with us on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh,
I appreciate it.
You bet. Okay, so we want to get to know you a little bit, and then we're going to hear about your heart behind the community garden. So how long have you lived in Marionville?
I've been a Marionville homeowner for about 5.5 years. We've lived here a little bit longer than that.
Okay.
But we bought our home and we love it.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so tell me about your family.
I have 2 little boys who are both in the school system here. One is in 2nd grade and the other one is currently in preschool.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So what are some of your favorite things to do around town as a family?
We love to go out on walks. We love to go visit the park. We are often traveling from our home to my in-laws' home straight across town and riding bikes, everything.
Oh, that's so good. Awesome. So I want to talk about gardening a little bit. And I'm curious, like, did you grow up in a gardening family? How long have you been a gardener?
My great-grandmother did the vegetable gardening a little bit, but I wasn't around her a ton during that time, but grew up with my mother and grandmother doing all the flower gardening.
Yes.
And just as I've gotten older and getting a family myself, gardening more for fruits and vegetables is better than flowers.
There you go. Something that they can actually eat and you can benefit from. Okay, so what over the years has become your favorite thing to grow?
I'm still in the early beginning stages of growing, and I think at this point it's tomatoes just
Okay.
because there's so many different ones that you can grow.
Sure. Do your kids like to go buy the tomato plants, and do you do cherry tomatoes and let them just eat them off the plant, or are they not tomato eaters?
I wish they would. They were fighting over strawberries this year.
Oh, yes.
The red ones.
That's a good one. Another great fresh one that for kids in the garden is pea pods because they're sweet. And so kids tend to like that. But I know growing up, I was, it was a free for all when it came to cherry tomatoes. Mom said we could eat them anytime we wanted to. So we'd pick them off the plants as we would walk by. So how do you know so much about gardening? Where does all that information come from?
So last year I had a major surgery and it took me a while to recover.
Okay.
And during that time, I just dove into learning as much as possible about gardening and all the different ways that things can be done. And
it's easy to learn. Well, it's not easy to learn it all, but you can have access to a lot of that on the internet, can't you?
yes, getting the access and learning who to follow and who not to follow is a big thing.
Yeah, like if they spoiled the garden because they had really bad tips, they would not be a good person to follow. So
No.
Well, I tell you, I have been so impressed with the tips and the information that you've put out on your Facebook page. I'm a big fan. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on is because I love the fact that you're like, it's not too, this isn't just a spring thing. Like be thinking now about what people need to do. And I love that you're curating all this information and feeding it to us. So thank you, because I know that that's not a small effort. That's a big feat that you're doing. So that's one of the reasons I just want people to follow your Facebook page. But also, I want to know more about this community garden dream. Tell me about where that actually came from.
So I would like to feed as many people as possible. I only have a small, tiny in-town yard, and through the past 4 years, I've learned that that's going to feed my family, but it's not going to feed everyone's family. So I looked into community gardening and we talked to the city about it. According to the Missouri University Extension's office, about a 50 by 50 square foot garden would fill a food pantry. So that was my starting size.
Okay. So, but it takes a generous heart to even think like, I could help feed people. Like, do you know, I mean, is there anything that spurred that in you, or where did that desire come from?
Well, it's just kind of the same thing as you can give someone a fish or you can teach them to fish. So I can give someone a tomato or I can teach them how to grow their own plant.
So let's talk about that for a minute, because so you're saying that it's the community garden, you're just not going to do it all, right? You
Hopefully
need help.
Not everything.
No, I mean, the whole plan is that it's not
A
just for
community
the
of
community, but it's with the community, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's talk about that. How even now, when you're at these starting stages, how can people get involved in helping to start this community garden?
Well, on my Facebook page, as you've mentioned, I'm always welcome. Everyone's welcome to put their ideas and all of their different tips or tricks that they have personally from their own experience. And I know especially right now when it comes to composting, that's not something I'm the best at. That is the process of taking organic materials that will decompose and turn back into soil. That's not something I'm the best at, but if I could find someone who could help with that, that would be great.
Because there's a lot to learn from that, because the nutrients can be reintroduced into the soil, right? And make the garden so much healthier.
Yes, things that you would just be throwing in the trash anyways.
Okay, so here's first call out there to anybody who is a great composter and knows things about that. Get in touch with Amber and let's share that information on the White Squirrel Community Garden Facebook page. And, all of us, sadly, have food scraps, right? We cook, we cut off the ends of vegetables. We have all the things that don't get finished on the plate and things like that. So, but I know there are certain things you're like, no, you don't want to put that in your compost. And there are other things that I think would surprise people that can go in compost. So that's a great area for somebody to get involved. And then we can all help feed that composting if we know the process. But you have a really big big need right now, right? And that number one is finding a location. Have you secured anything there yet?
I have not
Okay.
100% secured a location yet.
Okay.
I have had someone say yes, but they have not gotten back in contact with me yet.
Okay. So if you're that person and you're listening, get a hold of Amber. But seriously, we need like a 50-foot by 50-foot minimum, right? Space that could be dedicated that people can have access to.
Easy access.
I know that's one of the things you and I messaged about a little bit is easy access for people to get there, be able to help with whatever, whether they're on a weeding rotation or bringing their compost or whatever it is that people are doing, being able to have easy access to that. And water was another thing you said was really important that we have some access to some water,
yes,
correct?
Preferably free water using rainwater collection or springs or little creeks we have through town. Awesome. All those things.
Okay, so my ideas are just spinning in my head because certainly there are people in this town that can help make rain barrels, that could make a system for collecting the water from the rain, because most years are not going to be like this year, right? With the drought, we will get rain from the sky, and those are just ways that people can get involved, and with the ultimate goal of feeding people.
Yes.
I know there have been times where I've had extra produce and I've taken it to the little food pantry cabinet at City Hall.
I did as well this year.
Most of the time that went right away. You know, it was like, because my goodness, to get fresh food is such a blessing. And I hear you saying that you want to multiply that and you want to teach people, because not only could you have the community garden, but then people could say, well, I could grow a few tomato plants at home, or I can plant some cucumbers and get a few things at home as well, because they're learning it from you. So why don't you list a few more of the things that you have as needs, Amber, right now in the beginning stages so that we can really get this ramped up?
Well, we will need tools when we do have a location. So shovels and rakes and all the things you will need in a garden.
Yep.
I just do not have space to collect that right now because I don't want to bog down my own house with all the things.
Sure. So set aside tools. If you guys know that at the end of the season, you're like, oh, I probably don't need this rake for next year, but the community garden might need it. So set that aside. Hopefully by spring, we'll be able to have a location. Maybe even if somebody has an old shed. Oh my goodness, wouldn't that be wonderful to have a place where we could put all the things, with the ultimate goal. Remember, this is for the community. Yes. And I love that, Amber. And I think that's why I'm so excited about it, is because you are very selflessly saying, here's something we could do that could better all of us and give us something that it doesn't cost a lot.
No.
I was even thinking about when I buy seeds, sometimes the seed package has, 5 times the amount of things that I would want to plant because I couldn't manage it or I don't have the space or whatever. And so I just think about all of the things we can announce over the winter and into the spring and things like that, just being able to gather seeds from other people, the tools, get things ready. And right now, even you said people can be making a mulch piles and composting things so that we're ready for some of that. What do you want to say to the community right now as you're getting this all, this dream ready to make happen? What else do you want to say?
It is going to be a lot of work. Yeah. Not just one person can do this. So if you are willing to help and looking forward to this, please feel free to get a hold of me. And as soon as that location is ready to go, I am ready to go.
Awesome. That's so good. So if you hear this and you think you have a location, a little plot of land, a side yard, whatever that you would be willing to allow the community garden to use. And I will say we hope it's a long-term commitment, because one of the things that you've shared a lot about on your Facebook page is that perennial foods are, it's wonderful because you plant them and then they keep coming back, asparagus and strawberries and blueberries and things like that. So you're not having to, that grows and sustains. And so that is something we wouldn't want to have to move very often. So, you can lose a lot of years off of an asparagus if you move them. So, so I love that. So be thinking about that. Contact Amber is the best way through your messenger, Amber, on the White Squirrel Community Garden.
Yes, ma'am. For right now.
Alrighty. We'll make sure that that Facebook page name is in the show notes for everybody. Amber, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing about your dream to help people learn about gardening and how to make and grow food. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. Oh, it was a great show today. We shared a lot of information. I hope you all have been able to keep track, and you can check the show notes for any of those details that we might have gone over really quickly. A very special thank you to our sponsor, the Bank of Billing, for showing your support for the good that is happening here in Marionville. And I want to encourage you to join the Bank of Billings as becoming a sponsor. You can contact us at goodplacemarionville@hotmail.com. Thank you to each of you for doing good in Marionville. We know that it's contagious, so keep it up. And another thanks to each of you that contributed good news to this week's episode. It's easy to report. Just go to our email, goodplacemarionville@hotmail.com. Thank you for joining us for the Good Place Marionville podcast. Keep your eyes out for the good, and together we can celebrate Marionville.